인사를 하시겠습니다.
안녕하세요. 속초소방서장 최민철입니다. 오늘 웅변대회에 바쁘신 가운데도 자리를 빛내주시기에 참석해주신 속초영양교육지원청 이현숙 장학사님, 김영애 장학사님, 고성교육지원청 연병은 장학사님께 감사를 먼저 드리겠습니다. 또한 학부모님과 지도선생님 그리고 참가한 학생 여러분들께도 감사의 말씀을 드립니다. 오늘날 이제 세계화는 우리가 이제 거역할 수 없는 고립이고 그 과정을 통한 의사소통의 수단인 영어는 굉장한 실질적으로 우리에게 많은 중요성을 갖는 언어라고 할 수 있을 것입니다. 또 이러한 언어를 통해서 학생들이 화재 예방을 비롯한 안전의식을 접목하도록 하기 위해서 이러한 영어웅변대회를 개최하게 됐습니다. 사실 40대 중반 이후 정도 나이면은 영어 회화 능력이 그렇게 썩 좋지는 대부분은 않은데요. 어렸을 때 이제 외국을 나가왔을 때는 그 유럽 쪽의 사람들은 대부분 영어 의사소통 능력이 저희보다 훨씬 낮더라고요. 그건 아마 그들은 이미 오래전부터 그런 영어 교육에 관심을 갖고 자기 의사를 표현할 수 있는 그런 걸 교육과정에 넣었기 때문에 그들은 모든, 그러니까 히딩크 감독이 네덜란드 사람이지만 그 연배에 비해서 영어를 잘하듯이 우리도 이제 그런 과정이 차츰 갖춰지는 것 같습니다. 제가 작년에 철원서장으로 있을 때 영어웅변대회를 가졌는데 우리 그 학생들의 영어 실력을 보고 깜짝 놀랐습니다. 저희 때 다닐 때하고는 너무 큰 차이가 있었고 그래서 또 우리나라의 희망을 본 것 같습니다. 또 우리나라 위상도 사실 경제 규모나 그런 거 봤을 때 이미 어느 정도 올라서 있긴 했지만 국제적인 이제 그 나라의 이미지는 2002년 이후에 굉장히 이제 전 세계적으로 정말 한국은 잘 살고 복지도 잘 되었구나 하는 게 알려진 것 같습니다. 월드컵 이후죠. 앞으로 번영하는 그리고 발전하는 대한민국의 학생으로서 여러분도 오늘 이 행사를 통해서 영어에 정진하시길 바라겠습니다. 또한 안전의식 함양을 통해서 그 지역사회 및 전체 사회에 그걸 전파하는 파수꾼이 되시기를 바라겠습니다. 오늘 심사를 위해 참석해주신 설악중학교 원어민교사 그래영 선생님, 양양초등학교 김금림 선생님, 대진초등학교 김종묘 선생님에도 감사를 드리며 공정한 심사를 부탁드리겠습니다. 끝으로 오늘 웅변대회를 빛내주시기에 참석해주신 장학사님, 학부모님, 지도선생님께 다시 한번 고마움의 말씀을 드리며 대회사에 가름하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
다음은 오늘 발표 내용을 심사해 주실 심사위원 선생님들을 소개해 드리겠습니다. 먼저 심사위원장님이신 양양초등학교 김금림 선생님이십니다. 다음은 설악중학교 원어민 교사이신 그래영 선생님이십니다. 네, 다음은 대진초등학교 김종려 선생님이십니다. 다음은 오늘의 심사위원장님이신 김금림 선생님께서 심사 기준에 대한 설명을 해주시겠습니다.
안녕하세요. 양양초등학교 교사 김금림입니다. 오늘 불조심 영어웅변대회 심사 기준 및 시상에 대해서 말씀드리도록 하겠습니다. 오늘 대회의 심사 기준 및 심사 기준은 총 100점 만점으로 원고 심사 30점, 발표 심사 70점이며 원고 심사는 저를 포함한 심사위원 3분 선생님에 의해서 이미 심사가 마쳐졌습니다. 오늘은 발표 심사만 하겠습니다. 발표 시간은 여러분들 다 아시다시피 10분 이내이고요. 시간을 초과할 경우에는 발표를 중단하지는 않으나 발표 초과 시에는 매 1분 경과 시마다 타종으로 시간 경과를 알려드리고 0.25점씩 감점을 하오니 이 점 반드시 유념하시기 바랍니다. 순위 결정은 각 심사위원의 원고 심사 및 발표 심사의 점수를 합산하여 고득점 순으로 순위를 결정합니다. 동점 시 발표 심사, 원고 심사, 태도 및 표현력, 억양 및 발음, 심사위원의 합의 순으로 우승자가 선정되겠습니다. 시상 내역은 속초, 양양, 고성 등으로 각 지역별로 대상 3명에게는 교육장님의 상장과 부상을, 최우수 3명과 우수상 3명, 장려상 3명에게는 속초소방서장님의 상장과 부상이 수여되겠습니다. 여러분 그동안 영어 공부 굉장히 열심히 하셨을 텐데요. 여러분이 준비한 것을 잘 발휘할 수 있는 그런 시간이 되었으면 좋겠습니다. 이상입니다.
네, 그럼 지금부터 발표 대회를 시작하도록 하겠습니다. 발표 순서는 추첨에 의한 순서대로 진행을 하도록 하겠습니다. 오늘 발표할 학생은 총 18명이 되겠습니다. 이 중 9명의 학생이 발표를 마친 후 10분간 휴식을 취하고 나머지 9명이 발표를 하도록 하겠습니다. 네, 그럼 먼저 첫 번째로 양양 상평초등학교 6학년 1반 김소미 학생이 불조심 내가 먼저 실천합시다 라는 내용으로 발표를 하도록 하겠습니다.
Hello everyone. Do you know what this is? You can't see this because it is too small. It's a small match. Although this is a tiny match. Whenever I see this, I remember my friend Minji. And I feel so sad. Also, whenever I see this, I make doubly sure to take care not to start a fire. A few years ago, a very sad thing happened to my friend Minji. Minji's parents went away on an overnight trip. Just Minji and her sister were left at home to take care of their house. Suddenly, the power went off while they were watching TV in the evening. Luckily, she found a match and a candle, and put a light to the candle. But Minji and her sister were afraid of spending the night without their parents. So, they fell asleep with the candle on. While they were sleeping, the candle set the curtains on fire. The fire rapidly spread through the house. Minji woke up because it was hard to breathe. She rushed out of the burning house with her sister right away. Fortunately, they were both okay. But Minji couldn't do anything to stop the fire. All she could do was just watch the burning house. Everything of Minji's family had gone because of the small match. Listen to me. The fire remained in Minji's mind like a blood. Minji's experience of the fire can be ours. Do you remember 2005 Yangyang fire in our town? It was a heartbreaking fire. In one word, the fire burning of Minji's house can burn around us. A fire cannot be controlled if it is discovered too late. So, fire prevention is very important. And we should be always careful. Fire prevention. Do you think it is difficult? It's not. We can practice it easily in our daily life. Fire awareness. Everyone, let's start together. Thank you.
다음 두 번째로 속초 청대초등학교 4학년 4반 장유림 학생이 되겠습니다. 무서운 불, 고마운 불이라는 내용으로 발표를 하겠습니다.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever seen a devil wearing an angel's face? Or have you wondered about how it will look like? Every April in Korea, worry starts to boil. Almost every week, there's a mountain fire accident. Why? Because every spring, the numbers of hikers increase, and the tendency to have mountain fire increases as well. Because of warm weather, dry trees, woods and leaves that have fallen, it is easy to have mountain fire. Just a simple friction or man's heat coming from the sun could cause mountain fire, which is natural, something that could not be avoided. But most of them are caused by human clumsiness that can actually be avoided. Let me tell you some examples of what I refer as human clumsiness or negligence. An unintentionally thrown lighted cigarette, an illegal campfire, playing with fire, and secretly burning trash can make huge mountains of fields into lumps of ashes. Mountain fire is only one of the most unwanted fire accidents. We also witness fires even in the corner of our own houses, workplaces like buildings and offices, on the roads where we travel, and everywhere else. We are not ignorant of the danger that it brings to us, the sufferings, the shock, and the pain of losing all of our valuable things and sometimes loved ones. But everyone, wait, is fire always a headache? Well, the first scientific incident out of 100 is the discovery of fire. With the emergence of fire, humans and animals have lived differently since then, and we couldn't live anymore without it. Humans protected themselves from beasts with fire. They ruled the dark night with fire. They enjoyed the warm sleep and food with fire. This is how important fire is in our lives. You have probably heard of a Janus-faced coin. This coin has two faces. Like the Janus-faced coin, fire has two faces. It is very important to humans, however. It can also bring us unfortunate events. They say that when you know your enemy, you are invincible. So, how can we make the essential fire not turn into the dangerous one? Let me tell you some safety rules inside and outside our roof. First, we should unplug electrical appliances when we are not using them, so that we don't get exposed to fire. Second, we shouldn't make the fire on the gas range too high, and we should close the valve once we are done cooking. Third, grown-ups should smoke on the streets or mountains and leave their cigarette butts on the ground or anywhere. Next, we should not play with fire, and adults shouldn't place matches or lighters on places that children could reach easily. Then, we shouldn't let heaters or other heating devices that we use in the winter overheat, and we should put things that are susceptible to burn away from fire. Finally, we should call 119 when there is a fire accident. Everyone, let's think about it from the bottom again. Leaving a land of beautiful scenery for our next generation, and preserving our traditional cultural heritage, and saving precious life, all starts from something small. A moment of carelessness can cause great danger. Important fire, but also dangerous fire. So let's take precaution to fire. We need to keep these sayings in mind. I have given you examples of fire accidents and its prevention. I have discussed the importance and danger of fire itself. Lastly, I would like to stress one more time that if we take an eye out for fire, we will be happy and healthy, and our country will continue its vast progress and prosperity. Thank you.
다음은 속초 청대초등학교 3학년 3반 오지원 학생. 불, 그것은 우리가 생각하는 이상이다 라는 내용으로 발표를 하겠습니다.
Are you friendly with fire? I'm very friendly with it, because it's my good friend. Have you ever watched fireworks at night? Yes, they are very beautiful. We can light fireworks and make a campfire, and we can light the candles on a birthday cake. Sometimes it can help me make delicious food in the kitchen. So, a fire always makes me warm and happy. But do you know, sometimes a fire can be a bad friend. If we make it angry, it can be a hot monster. It can hurt our brothers, our sisters, our family, and our friends. Please tell your brothers and sisters. If we want to use a fire, please ask your parents. Don't use it alone. And please warn your mother cooking in the kitchen. Ma! Don't forget to lock the gas after cooking, please. And please tell your father when he is smoking on the porch. Dad, don't throw away your cigarette butts outside, but if you do, please make sure you put them out completely. And please tell your friends, don't play with fire. If you play with it, you live at the bed at night. My grandmother made this a long time ago. But what can we do if make a fire angry? First, if a fire breaks out, don't be embarrassed. Stay calm and come outside quickly. Also, don't use the elevator, use the stairs. Second, if the smoke fills the room, you can use a wet towel. Go outside as quickly as you can, covering your nose and mouth with the wet towel. Third, after going outside at another snow or call 119. Please remember, don't try to put out a fire alone. Never do it. Please ask for help. Finally, I want to say one more thing. Do you like to go hiking in the mountains? I like it very much. Spring is here. It's a good time to go hiking in the mountains. But remember, it's a good time for fire to break out, so be careful. It's a very dry season. Do you remember the mountain fire in Naksansa a few years ago? I watched it on TV. We remember it. It was very sad because we lost 34 mountain sites. Father and uncle, please don't smoke there. I don't want a green mountain to become a black mountain. Mother and aunt, please don't smoke there. The mountain can be hurt by a fire. So, what do you think? I don't want a fire to be angry. It can be a good friend to us or a horrible monster. Everyone, remember this. From now on, let's be a good friend with fire. We can make it. Thank you.
다음은 속초 청대초등학교 2학년 5반 김진아 학생. 불은 무엇인가? 괴물인가? 나비인가? 라는 내용으로 발표를 하겠습니다.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kim Jina, a second grade at the Cheongdae Elementary School. Fire! It is very bright and pretty, yellow and red. I mean, love, it is like a butterfly. But the pretty butterfly changed into red monster in a second. I would like to let you know how we can handle with the monster. First of all, when you meet the monster fire, you never be embarrassed and shocked. Second, after, keep your voice, shout, fire! Fire! And then call to 119, tell them right place and situation. Third, if it is small fire, you may tread out of fire or catch a fire with water or sand. But if it is big fire, you must evacuate immediately to a safe area. You should keep in your mind what you have to check in case of fire. First, you should not open the door. The fire can come to your side. Also, check the temperature of the door before you touch it. Second, don't use elevator. It can be stopped by blackout. Third, you need to close your mouth and nose and bend your knees. These 3 points must be remembered, which may protect us by scary monster. What I hope is we all meet only pretty butterfly fire, but we never know when the scary monster shows up to us. So then, we always take a precaution to keep in good time before pretty butterfly change into monster. Be careful. Thank you for listening.
박수 한 번 더 주시지요. 네, 다음은 양양 한남초등학교 6학년 1반 김은선 학생. 화재 예방 어렵지 않아요 라는 내용으로 발표를 하겠습니다.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eunsun Kim, and I'm from Hannam Elementary School. Today, I will talk about how to prevent a fire. Fire can create a lot of damage in many places. Even small fires can be a big problem because they can spread over a large area very quickly and create a big disastrous fire. If this is so, what should I do in order to prevent a fire? First, attention must be given to any fire, even if it is a small one. My friends and I are experienced. Whenever we create a small fire, we should take care of it so that it does not grow into large and dangerous fire. Second, After using gas, you should lock the gas valve so that a fire will not occur. Children also sometimes use gas. It is important that they learn this at a young age so that good habits will be made for the future. Third, as soon as you should not connect many plugs to one outlet. If you do this, it could start a fire because a lot of heat will be made. Finally, as soon as a fire begins to get out of control, someone call 119. If you do this, put out a dangerous fire. You could get hurt. No one really knows when and where a dangerous fire will occur. Therefore, we must always be ready and smart. By following our steps, it is difficult to prevent a dangerous fire from happening. Thank you for listening to my speech.
다음은 속초 청대초등학교 5학년 5반 박민영 학생이 되겠습니다. 집에서의 안전수칙이라는 내용으로 발표를 하겠습니다.
Have you ever heard of Prometheus? In the myth, he was the man who brought humans fire. It was very hard to get and to deal with fire in old times. But today we can get and use the fire easily, even anywhere. How much do you think the life is different without fire? The fire definitely makes our lives convenient. But we can lose everything by mistake using the fire that is convenient and useful. It can not only destroy our living home, but also hurts and even kills us. How do we handle the fire that is useful but dangerous? Have you ever lit a birthday cake? Have you ever used a match or lighter? Have you ever seen the fire moving to the next paper? It's small and big at first, but it can be a big fire in few seconds. We should prepare two things for happening a big fire from small one. Fire detector and fire extinguisher. These two things are very small but very good for us. First, fire detector is located on the ceiling in the house. If there is a fire at home, it will sense and warn you with a big alarm for us to avoid the fire. Next, we can spray fire extinguisher on the firing spot in order to put out the fire and not to make a big fire. So, we must run and know how to use fire extinguisher. In spite of this action, the fire is getting bigger and bigger. We have to keep the fire safety. First, keep calm. Call 911 and escape from the house. However, the fire makes a lot of smoke. To avoid this smoke, stay low and crawl out. If you breathe this smoke, you may hurt and fall in a faint. Also, there is some water. You should get a towel and clothes bed. And never hide under a bed or in a closet. If you hide such a place, the firefighter will never see you and can save you. At last, don't open any door. You must check whether it is hot or cool. If the door is hot, you must not open the door. Don't jump out of the building or try to escape by force. If you do so, you will hurt very much. The most important thing is prevention. Please check if dying fire and be sure it is put out. We must keep in mind that playing with the fire for fun is very, very dangerous. Thank you for listening.
네, 수고하셨습니다. 네, 다음은 속초교동초등학교 2학년 6반 서민재. 아까 그 네 번째 발표한 청대초등학교 김진아 학생하고 똑같은 오늘 최저학년 2학년입니다. 네, 서민재 학생은 화재로 인한 가슴 아픈 불행이라는 내용으로 발표를 하겠습니다.
Heartbreaking misery caused by fire. 속초교동 Elementary School, second grade 서민재. I am second grade in elementary school. I am sometimes hear my parents nagging. Don't get too close to the hot heater. You will get heated if you come near me while I am cooking. Do not play with fire and always be careful with gas stove or heater. I thought they are just nagging. However, like taking precaution against fire, it is easy to say that we should be wary of fire, but actually I am not sure how to take action against fire. Before I was done, there was a fire in kindergarten which was quite serious. I can't imagine it is heartbreaking for parents and friends that they are no longer it, then they are gone forever because of fire. My teacher said should appreciate fire and we can live without it, but if we mishandle the fire, it take everything away from us. Family members, friends, houses, money, lives. Whereas if it is cold or hot, the one night firefighters are always there. Us, they are there to protect our lives, neighbors, and people. Therefore, it insists that before we lose everything have, we have to be careful not only today but also tomorrow. Everything to prevent any danger we need to take all precaution. So us to be complete, safe, be involved in any particular business or where at home it or need to follow precautionary measures for survival. To be careful on need constant practice in order to keep things under control. Fire precautions need to be maintained in both school and home. Thank you.
2학년 최저학년인데 목소리 들어보니까 연습을 많이 해서 목이 많이 쉰 것 같습니다. 네, 수고하셨습니다. 박수 한 번 더 주시죠. 다음은 속초중앙초등학교 6학년 김하린 학생이 되겠습니다. 내용은 불 그리고 불이라는 내용으로 발표를 하겠습니다.
What comes in your mind when you hear the word fire for the first time? Do you relate the word to a wildfire, to a conflagration, or just simply to the fire of a burner for cooking? That's right. When we think of fire, it reminds us of a wildfire or a conflagration. On the other hand, we could imagine a flame of the burner that allows to cook in the various ways. Fire is very useful and important in our daily life. However, it will cause a disaster if we are careless about handling it. Since then, it has been indispensable to life as a valuable resource. However, we lose the precious treasure our ancestors handed down because of the minor fault and the people who were very reckless. On April 7, 2005, several old temples were burned to the ground. Even though my family couldn't look at the fire itself, we drove there as soon as we heard the news. Everything was gone. It was such a special place to me because I had spent a lot of time in my old days that I was very sad. The only thing I could see was the visited areas. On that day, the people in Yangyang County and Sokcho City, as well as the whole nation, were in a great shock. What happened to the Sungle Moon? It was also burnt away because of our fault and the blame. We should have been thoughtful. Spring is just around the corner. We have a lot of rivers and mountainous tourist attractions in Sokcho City. So, whenever you go hiking, you should be careful. While wildfire can occur because of the friction produced by yellow sand and the wind from China, a fire can also start due to our negligence. Let's think of the ways to prevent a fire. First, don't make a fire when you go camping or hiking with your family or friends because it can cause a wildfire. Why don't you enjoy homemade lunch instead? Second, you have temptation to smoke in the car and throw away your cigarette with a spark on the highway. Don't do that. We should remember that such triples as those examples are critical to protect our valuable lives and properties. Of safe in the time, stitching in the time saves 9. Most of the irrevocable disastrous fire were caused from trivial mistakes. Therefore, we need to be extremely cautious. Better safe than sorry. Thank you.
다음은 양양회룡초등학교 6학년 김현섭 학생입니다. 내용은 아는 대로 실천하자라는 내용으로 발표를 하겠습니다.
Let's practice what we preach. Hello everyone, my name is Kim Hyun-seo. I'm in the 6th grade at Hwaeryong Elementary School. Today, I'm going to tell you about 3 things. First, the tragedies caused by fire. Second, the causes of fire. And third, how to deal with the fire. Fire has been an essential tool since prehistoric times. We can cook with it and use it to protect our body from the cold. If we make good use of fire, it can benefit us. However, if it is misused, it can cause many problems. In 2005, we had a big fire at Naksan Temple, in which the wooden building of the temple were burned down, and national treasures were damaged. I was shocked and saddened by the news, because it was somewhere I used to go field trips. Did you know that everything that happened was caused by someone's light carelessness? What should we do to prevent these unfortunate fires? I'm going to some fire safety precautions. The main causes of a forest fire include discarded cigarette butts and farmers' field burning. 8% of fire are caused by people. Even though people make small mistakes, the resulting damage can be unimaginably disastrous. So we should let the people know about the causes of fire and fire safety precautions from them. Our carelessness is responsible for the fire around us. When you go out, switch off the power and unplug the electrical appliances. Also turn off the gas valve after cooking. Children playing with fire can lead to big fire. They need to be careful not to play matches and lighters. Have you made a prank call to 119? Everyone knows the story of the boy who cried wolf, right? He didn't get help from people when a wolf really did show up in front of him because he had told so many lies before. If you make some prank calls for fun, when a real fire does occur, maybe we cannot get help from firefighters. Prank calls waste their time and energy. Everyone, let's not make prank calls to 119. We have a fire drill once a year at school. We learn how to deal with the fire and emergencies which we might experience in the future. But while doing the drill, I see some students being naughty. Even if the teacher explains the importance of the drill, they don't listen carefully. However, keep in mind that a drill can save your life. So far, I have told you about the causes of fire and how to deal with it. We all know this stuff because we have learned it at school. However, knowing is not enough. Tragedies like Naksan will happen again. So what do you need to do? We need to practice what we preach. From now on, let's keep our cultural heritage safe while we put into practice the fire safety that we already know. Thank you very much.
네, 이상으로 18명 중에서 9명이 발표를 마쳤습니다. 10분간 휴식을 하고 3시에 다시 시작을 하도록 하겠습니다.
For example, fire has kept us warm from the cold. We can also make food more delicious because we no longer have to eat raw meat and fish. Fire can also keep people safe from wild animals. These are some of the ways fire has been useful throughout human history. Even though it does happen to us, we must remember that fire can also be very dangerous. Even a dumb fire can threaten our lives if you're not careful with it. But fire threaten our lives if you're not careful with it. Fire can be very convenient, but it can also cause great damage. Such a thing even happened where I live last year in Gosong. In 1996, there was a big fire that destroyed the beautiful mountains and took the lives of many animals.
People living nearby were even asked to evacuate their homes. This is not the only time fire has caused major damage. The terrible fires at Naksan Temple and in the Daegu subway are disasters that we should never forget, but that we should also prevent from ever happening again. I heard that there are over 5,000 fires in our country every year. Are there any ways that we can reduce the number of these accidents? The answer is yes. The following are some ways that we can prevent these dangerous fires from happening. One way is to pull out plugs after using them and never connect large oil plugs into one socket at the same time. Another way is to turn off the gas when you're not using it. If you smoke, don't throw away your cigarette butts. They can cause fires. Also, you should never play with flammable materials such as lighters, matches, candles, and fireworks. Even if we do all these things, accidents can still happen. So please remember to have a fire extinguisher in your home just in case. I feel so sad whenever I see a mountain that is bare because of a fire. So please remember, fire can be our best friend if we use it carefully. But if not, it can be our worst enemy. Thank you for listening and for your time.
다음은 속초 소야초등학교 6학년 김소래 학생이 되겠습니다. 발표할 내용은 불의 양면성에 대해서 발표를 하겠습니다.
Hello everyone, my name is Sore Kim. I go to Soya Elementary School and I'm in the 6th grade. Today, I'll tell you about the two sides of fire. Please listen carefully. As you know, fire is very useful to us, but it can also be harmful to us. Fire makes the dark light and help us with cooking food and heating the house. However, fire can also cause disasters. A few years ago, in Yangyang, there was a huge forest fire. The fire burned the forest and Naksan Temple, and the fire also destroyed the temple bell called Dongjo. Can you guess what caused the fire? Don't be surprised to hear this. It was the tiny cigarette butts which caused a huge disaster. 1 year before the Naksan Temple fire, there was a big fire in Cheongdae Mountain. The fire threatened many people who lived near there. My mother told me my family was one of them. Remembering these terrible disasters, let us all try to prevent fires. Precautions against the fire should be emphasized all the time. Please be very careful when you put your cigarette butts away. I believe the fire will make our lives only when we use it very carefully. Thank you for your attention.
다음은 속초 초등학교 6학년 김기환 학생이 되겠습니다. 발표할 내용은 화재 안전에 대한 내용으로 발표를 하겠습니다.
Good afternoon. I'm Kim-Ah Kim from Sokcho Elementary School. I would like to talk about precaution against fire. A fire is very useful for us, but it is very scary and dangerous. A fire can destroy houses, trees, and forests. Moreover, it can hurt or kill many people. A fire can start at any time and anywhere. Therefore, we should prepare what to do. What to do to prevent fire? People have to use machines like gas oven and heaters carefully. Children should not play with matches or lighters or candles. Children should never touch it. If children see matches and lighters, children have to tell an adult right away. Children should not cook alone. Children should always get their parents' permission before doing something in the kitchen. Children should never play with electrical cords. We have to turn off after using electrical equipment. A forest fire often breaks out in the spring. Adults should never have a cigarette in the mountains. A cigarette carelessly thrown causes a forest fire. A fire can be seen or start where we are. Then, what to do in case of fire? A fire can If we see a fire and smoke, we should shout fire so that someone knows the situation. If there is a fire alarm, we have to press the button as fast as possible, and then we have to call 119. In case of fire, we should not hide. We should go outside. Also, fires are scary. We should never hide in closets or under beds. We must go outside. If a fire starts where we are, we have to scream loudly or shake a towel from the window. When there are a lot of smoke in the air, we have to fall and crawl on the floor. We should crawl as low as possible on the floor to escape the smoke, because it is easier than to breathe in fire. If our clothes catches on fire, we should stop on the spot, drop and roll until the fire is out. But we should not run, because running makes fire burn faster. We should not go back into a burning building to take children's valuables. We should stay out, get out, and tell the firefighters. We should know how to use fire extinguisher. First, we have to pull the pin. Second, we have to point the extinguisher hose at the base of a fire. Third, we have to squeeze the lever above the handle. Fourth, we have to swing from side to side, moving carefully toward the fire. How many do you know about fire safety? We should know about fire safety to save our lives from the fire. A fire are very scary and very dangerous. A fire can start at any time and anywhere. So we will have to prevent before it does happen. Thank you for listening to my speech.
다음은 고성중앙초등학교 6학년 김예지 학생이 되겠습니다. 발표할 내용은 두 얼굴의 선물이라는 내용으로 발표를 하겠습니다.
Hello, my name is Kim Ye-ji. I'm a 6th grade student in Jugang Elementary School. I'll speak about fire awareness. The title is Two Faces of a Gift. Not long ago, I read the classic myth. Above all, the story of Prometheus was very impressive. Prometheus was the god who made humans. Prometheus loved humans like his own children. So he presented the fire to humans despite the opposition. Only God could use the fire. Zeus was upset. So he made an eagle to aid Prometheus' liver every day. After I read this story, I thought Zeus was cruel. But on the one hand, I came to wonder why he didn't want to give the fire. I searched the information about fire on the internet. It was even more important than I had thought. After humans had the fire, there had been a lot of changes in our lives. For example, people made a fire to overcome the cold weather and to be able to live in the darkness. Humans made islands by using fire. As a result, they could keep themselves from the risk. After I learned the importance of fire, I understood why Zeus was not going to give the fire to humans. On the other hand, I guess that death was upset by the fire of Prometheus' curse to human. The curse was that if humans use the fire carelessly, they will be punished. A house had big damage because young children play with fire at home, or of tourists who were climbing carelessly, dropping cigarette butts from the mountains. They are common accidents all around us. Due to this accident each year, many people injured or die. And fire destroy nature and make to lose rest, and it takes a lot of time used to repair. Carelessly will make big damage as if there is curse. The most important thing to guard against fire as a result of carelessly is education. Last year I learned the fire safety at school. We escaped out space like an actual emergency situation and put the fire out like a fireman. Those experiences made me have serious attitude for fire. After that time, I can see many things. Fire extinguishers in every classroom, safety devices in the school hallway, fire alarm in the apartment. I did not know what that is in place before. Now I know where they are located and how can use them in emergency. So I want many people to join this education program, as well as students of elementary and high school students, college students, or to adults also do that. If our people receive the fire safety education regularly, more and more people will pay attention to precaution against fire. When everyone knows the risk of fire and trying to prevent fire, we can live and feel much more peaceful. That's because of moment's mistake that people lose their lives and property will be reduced and also will be reduced natural damages. We spend many of country's budget in order to compensate for damage caused by fire. If we spend this budget in another part, we can make more strong country. Fire do us good, but it can do us harm too. If we use carefully, it is very helpful, but if not, it puts danger. So we have to mind the fire. Spring is warm, but it is easy to a fire breaks out. Now is best timing that we can consult about fire awareness. We should use the Prometheus gift meaningfully. It's time to finish. Thank you for your listening.
다음은 양양 한남초등학교 4학년 안윤집 학생이 되겠습니다. 네, 발표할 내용은 불조심, 내가 먼저라는 내용으로 발표를 하겠습니다.
Our family loves to trip. Particularly, we often came to Sokcho in Yangyang because there are beautiful sea and Sorang mountain. Finally, we moved to Yangyang. There's Naksan temple in my town. It's one of the most famous temples in Korea. So I take pride in it with a smile whenever I pass by. One day I found something strange there. There are many young trees instead of mature trees in and around the Naksan temple. And I found one mark on the trees. I asked Dad about this. He told me a fire broke out because of a cigarette butt. Someone threw it away carelessly. Everything was destroyed by the blaze. The temple lost a national treasure, the temple bell. All people worried about it. This is the reason why there are many young trees around the Naksan temple. Dad also said people have People have made an effort to prevent a fire since then, so they are growing well now. When I looked at Naksan Temple, Hesugan-sang seemed to smile sad and recalled the fire on the day. How does she remember the day in her mind? How do my friends remember the day in their mind? One of the news we often hear about is a fire. This shows us we are not careful to prevent a fire. A fire destroys national treasures. A fire destroys trees. A fire hurts us and animals. Thus, we careful with the fire. Naksan Temple is so famous that many tourists visit every year. So we should preserve it. Fire prevention. Let me start first. Fire awareness. Let's start together to protect our town.
자, 단상 정리 좀 해주세요. 여기 단상 같이 좀 해줘요. 네, 다음은 마지막 순서가 되겠습니다. 고성의 강성초등학교 4학년 임다은 학생이 되겠습니다. 발표할 내용은 소화기 사용법에 대해서 발표를 하도록 하겠습니다. 박수로 맞이해 주시기 바랍니다.
Fire. It is a scary word. There is a high chance that you will encounter an out-of-control fire, at least once in your lifetime. So, it's very important that you prepare yourself by knowing how to use a fire extinguisher beforehand. In this speech, I'd like to introduce you the process of using a fire extinguisher. There are 4 steps to using a fire extinguisher. First, pull the safety pin from the handle. The pin is located at the top of the fire extinguisher. Second, aim the extinguisher hose at the base of the fire. Third, squeeze the handle slowly to release the fire-stopping chemicals. Lastly, sweep from side to side over the fire until the fire is completely extinguished. These 4 steps can be summarized as PASS. Pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. So, when you're using a fire extinguisher, just remember pass. You might have seen the fire extinguishers everywhere, but it is no use if you don't know how to use it. Now that you know how to use the fire extinguishers, I hope that you can keep yourself, your friends, and family safe from the unwanted fires. When you encounter a fire, just remember pass. Thank you for listening.
네, 이상으로 학생들 발표를 모두 마치었습니다. 이제 그 총점 집계가 되는 동안 소방 불조심 홍보물을 시청하시겠습니다. 네, 오늘 많으셨습니다. 단상 정리 좀 해주시고요. 아니. 저기, 단상하고 한쪽으로 치워주세요. 한쪽으로 치워주시고요. 네. 자, 다음은, 학생들이 발표 마쳤고요. 점수 집계 결과에 따라서, 오늘 심사위원장님께서, 여러분들의 발표 심사에 대한 강평이 있으시겠습니다. 조용한 가운데 경청을 해주시기 바랍니다.
여러분 다들 긴장되시죠? 발표가 어떻게 나오는지. 여러분이 노력한 만큼 그렇게 성과가 나왔으면 선생님도 너무 좋겠어요. 오늘 대회를 위해서 준비하면서 모두들 다 자신의 영어를 한 단계 더 업그레이드하는 기회가 되었을 거라고 선생님은 생각해요. 그래요? 너무너무 좋아요. 그랬으면 충분하다고 생각해요. 솔직히 결과에 상관없이. 오늘 선생님의 강평은 세 가지로 나눠서 얘기를 하고 싶어요. 첫 번째는 여러분들에게 그 발표를 보면서 좋았던 점, 그리고 선생님들이 생각했던 아쉬웠던 점, 그리고 나머지 하나는 마지막 부분은 원어민 선생님이 느끼셨던 부분을 써줬던 것을 여러분들에게 발표해주는 과정으로 해서 3단계로 나눠서 해볼게요. 우선 여러분들의 영어 웅변대회를 보면서 좋았던 점은 모두들 다 자신의 원고를 대부분 외워서 부드럽고 원활하게 자신의 원고를 잘 발표해 준 것 같아요. 그래서 그런 부분에 대해서는 정말 박수를 보내고요. 얼마나 힘들었을까 그거 다 외우느라고. 그쵸? 고생 많이 했어요. 그리고 다들 떨지 않고 자신감 있게 침착하게 잘 발표해 주었어요. 또한 자신의 생각을 전달하기 위해서 몇몇 친구들은 굉장히 다양한 재료를 준비해서 최선의 노력을 다한 것 같아서 그런 부분에 대해서는 정말로 박수를 보내주고 싶어요. 아쉬웠던 점은 우선 첫 번째 원고 면에서 원고를 읽으면서 선생님의 세 분이 다 느꼈던 거지만 자신의 쓴 글이 아닌 것 같다라는 글이 참 많았어요. 어디서 많이 읽었던 글이나 아니면 부모님이나 선생님이 써준 것 같은 그런 글이 꽤 있었어요. 그래서 내가 내 실력으로 쓴 글로 영어로 바꿔서 번역해서 말하기 대회에 나왔으면 더 좋지 않았을까 이런 생각을 해요. 내가 내 자신의 생각으로 내 마음으로 그리고 내 영어로 쓴 글은 발표할 때도 훨씬 더 마음을 담아서 설득력 있게 전달할 수가 있죠. 두 번째로는 발표면에서인데요. 선생님은 솔직히 영어와 웅변이라는 말이 참 안 어울린다라고 생각을 해요. 영어와 웅변은 참 다르다라고 생각을 하거든요. 우리가 일반적으로 생각하고 있는 웅변은 소리 높여 이 연사 외칩니다 잖아요. 근데 영어는 그게 영어 말하기에서는 영어로 스피치에서는 내가 내 생각을 담아서 관중과 호흡하면서 전달하는 내 생각을 전달하는 게 가장 설득력 있게 전달하는 방법이에요. 그래서 오늘 발표면에서는 그냥 단순히 읽는 게 아니라 관중과 호흡하면서 교감하면서 내가 쓴 영어를, 내가 쓴 글을 내가 알고 있는 영어로 그렇게 마음을 담아서 전달하는 학생이 좀 그런 면에서 좀 많이 아쉬웠던 것 같은 생각이 들거든요. 여러분들의 발표를 들으면서 거기에 굉장히 big words, 굉장히 어려운 단어들이 너무 많았어요. 그래서 정말로 그것이 여러분의 단어였을까 이런 생각을 좀 하고요. 그렇게 여러분들의 생각을 담지 않고 여러분들의 단어를 담지 않으면 설득력이 좀 떨어지겠죠. 그래서 다음에 혹시 이런 기회가 생기면 여러분들은 자신이 알고 있는 영어를 가지고 한다면 아마 더 설득력 있게 말하기를 할 수 있을 것 같아요. 그리고 이제 원어민 선생님이 써줬던 거를 제가 한번 발표해 드릴게요. 원어민 선생님은 세 가지로 나눠서 말씀을 해주셨는데 여러분들이 잘했다고 생각하는 점, 그 다음에 원어민 선생님이 이건 좀 아쉬웠다고 생각하는 점, 그리고 어드바이스인데요. 좀 굉장히 잘했다라고 생각하는 점은 Students tried very hard to perform well. This task is very challenging for them. 너희들한테 굉장히 challenging, 힘들었을 거래. And they deserve good consideration and applause for their effort. 너희들이 최선을 다한 거에 대해서 굉장히 박수를 받아야 한대요. 다들 너무 그리고 아쉬웠던 점은 all candidates use expressions and vocabulary that students never use. 그러니까 학생들이 전혀 사용하지 않는, 그러니까 영어권에서는 학생들이 전혀 사용하지 않는 단어들을 굉장히 많이 썼대요. 여러분들의 글이나 스피치에서. 그런 점이 좀 아쉬웠고, and largely don't understand. 여러분들 자신조차도 그 단어를 이해하지 못하고 있다라는 거죠. 내가 이제 이해하지 못하는 단어를 여러분들이 전달하려고 노력하니 얼마나 힘들었겠어요. 그렇죠? 그리고 나머지 하나 선생님이 해주시는 충고는 The best way to make a good speech, 여러분들이 좋은 말하기를 하기 위해서는 is by practicing and performing with the words card, not memorize a written paper. 암기하거나 아니면 써져 있는 걸 그대로 읽는 것보다 워드 카드를 가지고 그것을 참고하면서 내가 얘기하고자 하는 것을 말하고 하는 것이 가장 좋은 방법이고, words for word accuracy is not important. 단어 하나를 정확하게 얘기하는 건 중요하지 않대요. 여러분의 생각을 문장으로, 생각 단위로 나누어서 그것을 전달하려고 하는 것이 더 말하게 할 때는 여러분들의 생각을 논리적으로 전달할 수 있다는 선생님 의견이에요. 오늘 10분을 위해서 최선을 다한 연사 여러분과 그리고 주위에서 도와주신 학부모 여러분 그리고 교사 선생님들 모두 수고하셨습니다. 이상으로 강평을 마치겠습니다.
심사위원 선생님들 고생 많이 하셨습니다. 다음은 심사 결과에 따라서 시상을 하도록 하겠습니다. 먼저 수상 부분은 대상, 최우수상, 우수상, 장려상으로 해서 시상을 하도록 하겠습니다. 그럼 먼저 장려상부터 시상하도록 하겠습니다. 장려상 시상은 최민철 속초소방서장님께서 수여하시겠습니다. 이름을 부르는 학생들은 차례로 앞으로 나와주시기 바랍니다. 속초 청대초등학교 3학년 오지원, 속초 소야초등학교 4학년 박민경, 속초 교동초등학교 2학년 서민재, 속초초등학교 6학년 김기환, 간성초등학교 3학년 김가은, 청대초등학교 5학년 탁민영, 천진초등학교 5학년 최영민, 한남초등학교 4학년 안윤진, 중앙초등학교 6학년 김하린. 이상 9명이 되겠습니다. 상장 청대초등학교 3학년 3반 오지원. 이 학생은 2012년도 속초소방서 불조심 웅변대회에서 우수한 성적으로 입상하였기에 이 상장을 드립니다. 2012년 5월 23일 속초소방서장 최민철. 부상은 문화상품권이 되겠습니다. 소야초등학교 4학년 1반 박민경. 이하 내용은 같습니다. 이하 내용은 같습니다. 상장 교동초등학교 2학년 6반 서민재. 이하 내용은 같습니다. 상장 속초초등학교 6학년 4반 김기환. 이하 내용은 같습니다. 상장 간성초등학교 5학년 3반 김가은. 이하 내용은 같습니다. 상장 탁민영 학생 앞으로 나오세요. 네. 상장 청대초등학교 5학년 5반 탁민영. 이하 내용은 같습니다. 최영민 학생. 상장 천진초등학교 5학년 1반 최영민. 이하 내용은 같습니다. 상장 한남초등학교 4학년 1반 안윤진. 이하 내용은 같습니다. 상장 중앙초등학교 6학년 2반 김하린. 이하 내용은 같습니다. 자, 전체 차렷. 경례. 네, 다음은 우수상에 대한 시상을 하도록 하겠습니다. 호명하는 학생은 앞으로 나와주시기 바랍니다. 고성중앙초등학교 6학년 김예지. 속초소야초등학교 6학년 김소래. 양양 회룡초등학교 6학년 김현석. 이상 3명입니다. 서재. 상장 중앙초등학교 6학년 1반 김예지. 이 학생은 2012년도 속초소방서 불조심 영어웅변대회에서 우수한 성적으로 입상하였기에 이 상장을 드립니다. 2012년 5월 23일 속초소방서장 최민철. 상장 우수상 소야초등학교 6학년 5반 김소래. 이하 내용은 같습니다. 상장 우수상 회룡초등학교 6학년 1반 김현석. 이하 내용은 같습니다. 네, 전체 차렷. 경례. 네, 다음은 최우수상 수상을 하시겠습니다. 고성 간성초등학교 4학년 임다은. 양양 상평초등학교 6학년 김소미. 속초 청대초등학교 4학년 장유림. 상장 최우수상 간성초등학교 4학년 3반 임다은. 위 학생은 2012년도 속초소방서 불조심 영어웅변대회에서 우수한 성적으로 입상하였기에 이 상장을 드립니다. 2012년 5월 23일 속초소방서장 최민철. 상장 최우수상 상평초등학교 6학년 1반 김소미. 이하 내용은 같습니다. 상장 최우수상 청대초등학교 4학년 4반 장유림. 이하 내용은 같습니다. 네, 차렷. 경례. 네, 이제 남은 상은 대상만 남았습니다. 호명한 학생들은 기대되시겠죠? 네, 간성초등학교 5학년 김원상. 한남초등학교 6학년 김은선. 청대초등학교 2학년 5반 김진아. 상장, 대상, 간성초등학교 5학년 1반 김원상. 위 학생은 2012년도 속초소방서 불조심 영어웅변대회에서 우수한 성적으로 입상하였기에 이 상장을 드립니다. 2012년 5월 23일 강원도 속초양양교육지원청 교육장 정효남 대도. 상장 대상 한남초등학교 6학년 1반 김은선. 위 학생은 2012년도 속초소방서 불조심 영어웅변대회에서 우수한 성적으로 입상하였기에 이 상장을 드립니다. 2012년 5월 23일 강원도 속초양양교육지원청 교육장 정효남 대도. 상장 대상 반을 잘못 불렀네. 청대초등학교 2학년 5반 김진아. 이 학생은 2012년도 속초소방서 불조심 영어웅변대회에서 우수한 성적으로 입상하였기에 이 상장을 드립니다. 2012년 5월 13일 강원도 속초양양교육지원청 교육장 정효남 대도. 차렷 경례. 자리로 하세요. 제가 아까 대상을 제가 상장을 읽으면서 고성교육지원청장 상을 제가 속초 국장님 상을 읽었습니다. 죄송합니다. 네, 이상으로 시상을 마치고 속초소방서장님께서 여러분들 고생하신 마무리 인사 말씀이 있으시겠습니다.
실력보다 상을 잘 받은 것 같아요? 아니, 못 받은 것 같아요? 못 받았어요? 내년에 우리 속초소방서에서 행사를 마련할 테니까 1년간 한번 준비를 잘 하시죠. 그리고 오늘 심사위원 3분 끝까지 고생하셨고요. 또 내년에 또 이런 기회를 통해서 학부모님, 선생님들, 그리고 학생들 다시 뵙기를 바라겠습니다. 예, 수고들 많으셨습니다.
잠시 안내 말씀드리겠습니다. 지금 현재 이 자리에서 단상에서 기념 촬영을 하시겠습니다. 직원들은 잠시 자리 정리 좀 해주시기 바랍니다.
애가 지금